right. We are live. Back-to-back live streams for the first time in forever on this Suns Geek channel. And I'm joined by two of my good friends of the channel, Super Mario Hoops 24 and Romp 2.0. Romp, how's it going, man?
Uh, Yet another Doc Rivers loss, and I feel like the Suns played one of their worst games, honestly. I mean, they shot 23% from three, 45% from the field, but the Sixers did play pretty good defense, honestly, throughout the night. So
that's fair.
But just Doc Rivers not inserting Embiid until the 7 minute mark killed us.
RB call, by the way.
Yeah, every Sixer fan.
Top 15 coach of all time, Doc Rivers, right there.
We got to talk about that list later.
Yeah, but that's Doc Rivers. I mean, he had a lineup of Furkan, Andre Drummond, Niang, Danny Green, and Seth Curry or someone. Like, you got to have either Maxey or an Embiid or Harris on the court at all times. Like, just elementary school coaching. Not even, and it's just embarrassing stuff, honestly.
Wait,
Super Mario Hoops, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Just as good as the usual. Got my water here to stay hydrated. So, yeah, let's go.
Speaking of water and drinks, if you guys got them in the chat, make sure to crack them open. We're about to talk about this Phoenix Suns win over the Sixers. Good game, though. Came down to, final seconds, if you will, in a way. And we're also going to be talking a bunch about the NBA trade deadline, a little bit of NBA All-Star weekend news, and then this random coaches list that came out, and maybe some coaches should not have been on there. So cheers to everybody in the chat. We're going to dive into this game. Cheers. All right. So the Phoenix Suns win a close one.
Suns Geek's drunk already.
114-109. I definitely would be drunk if I was at the Sixers game, and anyways, but yeah, so close game, you guys. Romp, let's just start with you, man. I mean, you kind of already broke it down though, but what were your just quick takeaways from this game, just your post-game reaction thoughts?
I thought Mikal Bridges had a really nice game. It'd be nice if he was a Sixer. JaVale McGee outplayed Aiden. Just saying. But
I tried to warn you. No,
yeah, I pretty much said all I could say so far.
You
so
said your piece.
I'll let Super Mario.
Yeah, Super Mario. What were your thoughts? What are your takeaways from this game?
I mean, I thought the Sixers came out just like I expected. I thought that they were going to be hungry a little bit, and they were up, like 16 or something?
Yeah, they had a pretty big lead at one point.
And then sure enough, they did end up blowing the lead in Doc Rivers fashion, like Rob said. But no, I think like down the stretch of the game, like usually you might see like Chris Paul or Devin Booker taking it in control, but like there's really Mikal Bridges in the fourth quarter today. And like he kind of had everything going. But yeah, like the Sixers, like, this was a close game. I think even though like it's crazy that the final score was like a bigger difference than yesterday, because this game was like down to the very end. Yeah. And it's like the Sixers could have done a few things right, and they could have gotten through this game. Maybe if they didn't call that offensive foul on Embiid, which by the way, that was like the same thing that Levine did yesterday. Remember that when he was the court? They called like the same thing on Embiid. I don't really agree with that. Either it's like a play on or it's maybe a foul the other way. But anyways, like then also, you get the stop, Embiid gets the steal, and then there's miscommunication. Then it's a turnover when they could have tied the game. So I don't know, like just a few of those things. I think like Tobias made like stupid fouls. And then he turned the ball over. I think like Bridges stole the ball from him, like on a rebound. It was like a 5-point play or something. Like just those things like could have changed the game, and like not bad awareness too. Like I think even at the end of, what was it, half? I think it had to be half because was it? It was either halftime or third quarter. And like Georges Niang's bringing the ball up. He's like wide open. and then he's like, oh, let me throw a lob randomly to like Tobias at the rim, and then it like time ticks off. So it's like, I don't know, like they made a bunch of like bad decisions where it's like if you fix that, like just the little things, they could have won the game. But Embiid, he did just about everything he did. I think Tobias played pretty well. Romp will probably disagree with me on that. Uh, but no, I think like it's just hard when you got a guy like Chris Paul who's, even he's so reliable, especially in the third quarter, he kind of came back to life because he's kind of starting the game off slow.
Mhm.
And then in the fourth quarter, he was still doing his thing a little bit. JaVale McGee, like you guys said, was like kind of doing his thing. Devin Booker, again, was pretty dominant at 35 points. So I don't know. It's just like another one of those games where it's like, the Sixers probably played better, but the Suns won. So it's like now it's like, they always say good teams find a way to win. And it's like if the Suns are still finding a way to win against the Sixers, against the Bulls, and stuff like that, like in certain situations where maybe they didn't have their hottest game, it's like that's kind of impressive. And it's like now you got to start looking at it in like a different way.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, it wasn't the prettiest game for the Phoenix Suns. There was one thing in particular that stood out to me was, the Sixers were leading by 4 at halftime, but the Suns struggled coming out of the third, and they had tired legs this game. And, we mentioned that certain players didn't have their best performances, like DeAndre Ayton, and maybe Chris Paul too, and just was one of those games. Booker carried us. I thought Mikal Bridges had a great game. I thought JaVale McGee had a great game. And the Suns just kept chipping away, man. And sure, things fell in their favor, but they just kept doing what they do. Best clutch team in the league, best team in the league. And, that's just really my takeaways, overall. But Romp, I think you are right. I think that DeAndre Ayton was outplayed by JaVale McGee and by Joel Embiid as well. And Romp, I know you don't want to hear this name right now. We've all played basketball. Romp, you're currently playing basketball for college and all that. And that was one of those Seth Curry turnovers where you just knew he fucked up. He just had that look on his face. And I'm not saying that would have won you guys the game, but you guys had a little momentum going, and that was absolutely brutal. Got any thoughts on that?
I think what lost us the game was that Tobias Harris rebound on the free throw, and then Jay Crowder stole it, and then passed out to CP3 for 3, and then the Suns were up 4. And
Jay
Suns
Crowder,
were up Jay Crowder had 14 rebounds. Sixers are the worst rebounding team in the league. So I wasn't really surprised. McGee had 7 offensive rebounds. Drummond was good defensively, but he was just horrible on the glass tonight for some reason, which
that's not,
yeah, that's Andre Drummond's game, literally rebounding. And he was giving up, like, he was good in the pick and roll defense, just clogging up space and forcing missed shots. But, Tobias Harris sucks at rebounding. Seth Curry is a midget. Matisse Thybulle has no IQ. Tyrese Maxey's small. He hustles. Danny Green's unathletic. George Niang is unathletic and fat. So Furkan Korkmaz is a scrawny white boy. So it's like, of course, we're not going to be a good rebounding team. Today. Joel Embiid also, like, Joel Embiid's he's not an elite rebounder in my eyes either, because he doesn't really jump. He just gets rebounds because he's 7'2".
Yep.
So it's like, that's the biggest flaw. And that's like the one thing that Ben Simmons brought to the Sixers where I'm like, yeah, we actually miss him in that category. But yeah, I mean, Joel Embiid did all he could, 34 points, 3 steals, 3 assists. I mean, he had dumb shots in the fourth quarter, but at the same time, he was probably gassed because he has to be the best defensive player on the Sixers. He has to be a great passer, and he's getting thrown triple teams, double teams. So sometimes, of course, he's going to force up a step back 3 because he's tired and the shot clock's running down. So, yeah, I mean, this game is just a clear evidence that you need another scorer next to Embiid to help him finish a game, because it's hard to get a post player the ball in the fourth quarter against a good defensive team like the Suns.
And, I was listening to Philly Take with RB's stream. He does a great job, by the way. Romp, you already know. And he was basically saying that it was a death lineup that you guys had, I think, to start the fourth quarter. He said there was no ball creators out there, no one to really run the offense and all that. And again, I'm not saying that's why you guys lost the game, but he was harping on that. He was really getting on it. So I don't know, man. Super Mario, what do you think, man? Anything from what we just said? Any takeaways?
I mean, I think it's still like kind of impressive that like even though like you said like Drummond wasn't on his game like on the rebounds and like you were kind of criticizing like people for their rebounding, like they still did out rebound the Suns today, both just in general and on the offensive or defensive rebounds. So
Yeah.
it's like I don't know that's pretty impressive, especially with like we were looking at it the other day and what the Sixers were 30th in the league, and then like the Suns I think were what 11th I think they were, or
Which that
something
still
like
surprises me that the Suns are 11th in rebounds per game. That I don't know. That just surprises me. I don't feel like we're that good of a rebounding team. So maybe just the NBA this season sucks at rebounding.
But yeah, and I mean Jay Crowder was probably like the biggest impact in that. I remember I think yesterday I said he'd have like 19, he'd go off. Well, he sucked. He had like 0.
Yeah.
But I mean, he almost had as many rebounds as points I predicted. So, and it kind of was, the biggest impact in the game because if he doesn't go off, say he has like, how much does he average a game? He averages like 5. Say like those 9 rebounds probably make a difference in a 5-point game, a game that goes wire to wire like the whole fourth quarter.
Jay Crowder averages 9 points per game, 5 rebounds, and in all fairness, he did have 4 assists and 2 steals, and just really his impact out there. But yeah, he sometimes can be streaky, but tonight was not that. And real quick, I know this is kind of random. Super Mario, you and I were talking about this last night. Fast break points for the Phoenix Suns, not very good. The Sixers had 13 at halftime. And I feel like that's one thing the Sixers did do well tonight was the fast break. I think the Sixers finished with 19. Suns only had 10 fast break points. I don't know why. I thought about that. I was like, I was talking to Super Mario about that last night. So I will give credit to the Sixers on that. Another thing too, Romp, and I mean, you obviously know this team inside and out. I felt like the Phoenix Suns did a really good job of getting to the rim tonight. I don't know. I just saw that a lot, like from Mikal Bridges and Chris Paul in certain plays. I mean, do you guys struggle defending the ball like in the paint? Like, am I wrong there? Was it just the Suns being great on offense? I mean, what do you think about that?
I thought the defense from the Sixers was pretty fantastic all night. I mean, the Suns are gonna hit shots. They had some dumb fouls.
Oh yeah,
at times, but I mean, I can't really complain about their defensive effort tonight. They were.
So you're happy with the defense?
Yeah, I'm happy with the defense.
Yeah. I mean, players are going to get to the rim. That was just something that I personally saw and took away.
I think Aiden surprised me. Like, he only had 6 rebounds, and that's like the one thing he always does well. And then last game, he had like 9 rebounds only. So I was like kind of shocked he only had 6 rebounds.
I feel like there was a few really good defensive possessions from Aiden. There were times where he showed a lot of confidence, but I don't know if it was just the MVP Embiid taking over or just it was not Aiton's night, but he just didn't have a great night.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember my point. You were saying how the Suns they didn't do well in the fast break, but that was just because Embiid just slows the game down, gets to the free throw line, takes his time, takes like all the shot clock out. Like,
and what do you guys said? Like, was it Drummond clogging up the lanes?
Yeah. Both Embiid and Drummond were clogging up the lane.
That's probably like why it seemed like the Sixers were playing so much better than the Suns for most of the night, because they were kind of playing like to their style, to their pace, whereas like the Suns couldn't. But yeah, I don't know.
No, that's fair. Okay, so by the way, you guys, make sure to Hulk smash the like button. I am live with friends of the channel, Romp 2.0 and Super Mario Hoops. Shout out to Stat Moose. They do great. Go follow them on Twitter. They're always bringing the awesome stats. The Suns are now 22-3 in clutch games this season. Devin Booker is shooting 67.7 in the clutch. Chris Paul is shooting 57% in the clutch. And Booker tonight, 35 points. I said it last stream, and I'm going to say it again. Saying that he is playing at an all-star level is a complete understatement. 37 minutes tonight, 11 for 23 from the field, only had 3 threes, so he didn't really shoot a great. I mean, the whole Suns team didn't shoot good from 3. Got to the free throw line 10 times, or made 10 of them, I should say. 35 points. Devin Booker was incredible. Chris Paul, 16 and 12. Didn't really get it going until I would want to say the fourth quarter, but his impact out there is unmatched. He was incredible. JaVale McGee, 15 points, 12 rebounds. I thought he did really good, on defense, grabbing rebounds, just doing whatever he could to help this team win. And it was just, one of those games where the Suns just kept chipping back. So, yeah.
And I mean, Chris Paul, even too, like, I mean, I don't know. He seemed a little like he did have 12 assists, but he did seem like kind of careless. He had 6 turnovers. So,
yeah.
Like,
did he? Yeah, he did. 6 turnovers.
Yeah. I mean, he had that one at the end where Embiid took the ball from him too. So it's like,
I kind of wanted to talk about that. It looked like to me, it kind of looked like he almost got him on a crossover, but Embiid's just so big. That's what I saw anyways. They had this one angle, I think, from where the camera crew sits, and that's kind of where it looked like he crossed him, but Embiid just too much size right there, man. That was just that whole final 3 minutes was just chaotic, man. I mean, Sixers hit a couple big shots, and then Suns turned the ball over, and it was wild finish, man, up until the Suns won it at the free throw line. Sorry to cut you off, Super Mario.
No, that's all I was gonna say. I mean, it's not gonna happen like that, generally every game.
And Chris Paul never turns the ball over.
Right. I mean, that's why they call him the point god. I think he has doesn't he have the most games in history now where 10 assists or more and 0 turnovers or something like that?
I would believe it. Yeah.
I think he passed, who was it? I think it was either Muggsy Bogues or Fat Lever or something this year.
Wow.
Someone like that. But yeah, that's probably not going to happen that much. I don't know. I thought Tyrese Maxey was a little bit off today. He kind of had a stretch going. I think it was in the third quarter, if I remember right, where he had a few shots in a row. And maybe part of that is just kind of, tired legs off a back-to-back. But I don't know.
Romp, what did you see from I totally just forgot. Maxey, sorry. What did you see from Tyrese Maxey? Who, by the way, in all fairness, 34 minutes, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. What did you see from Maxey tonight?
I think a young player. He had an off shooting night, but I just love his effort. I mean, he was hounding CP3 all night, just making life hard for CP3. So I think you should give some credit to him in terms of the six turnovers along with Embiid. But he was off shooting night. He was kind of going too fast for his own good, which is one of his areas of improvements. His shot was off. He's been hitting the 3 ball well, but he went 0 for 4 tonight. He had an in and out 3 ball, which pissed me off. I thought it was going in, but it just rimmed out. I don't know. I was happy with how he played. I think it was just one of those nights, and you got to live with it. And he's going to have nights like that because he's a second-year player. So, I don't know. I just love how much effort he gives. And even though he was missing shots and, kind of looking reluctant at times, it's all good because I love Tyrese Maxey. Seth Curry, on the other hand, 1 of 9, just unacceptable. Can't happen.
The terrible turnover at the end. I mean, you don't see that much in the NBA, in my opinion. That was just horrible.
Yeah, why is he stopping?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It was tragic.
Just the look on his face. I'm telling you, you just go back and look at that play. He was just I blew it. That was just. And again, I'm not saying that's why you guys lost the game, but could have been a huge moment. That could have been a huge momentum swing.
Well, why is it that why is it that when players I hate when people do this. There was 21 seconds left in the game or something, and he's running away from him.
Yeah.
There's still
I think he had his back turns. What it looked like to me.
There's still 5 seconds you had to get the ball in the front court, and you're running away. Come on, let's go. You don't need to go, bro. And they still had at least one timeout. I think they had. I don't know, but I know they had at least one after that. So it's even if you don't score, you can still advance the ball afterwards. But now it's you just give them the ball back. Now you got to play the foul game. And everyone knows the foul game like doesn't work like 99% of the time. Like it's very rare that you can win that way.
Now, Romp, I'm not trying to sound like a hater here, but do you think Joel Embiid should have held on to the ball? I mean, like he did pass it. I'm just saying. I mean, well, what do you think? Do you think they were trying to set up some kind of offensive play, or do you think that's how they run their offense? I mean,
I think it was just kind of on both of them, to be honest. But
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't help that Seth Curry's a midget. So Seth Curry's a little taller. He probably easily grabs that. And it's like, I don't know. It's Seth Curry makes dumb plays like that. He doesn't play any defense. I don't know. He probably gave up so many points defensively just because he's so bad at defense.
Suns were playing their 4th road game in 6 nights. Players' legs get heavy. Shots don't fall. For them to come back and win tonight shows the Suns have DNA of a champion. Sorry, Super Mario. Go ahead.
No, I mean, that's that whole comment right there by Stevie Mack is facts. But I was just going to say, like, also, like, I guess to Romp, what did you think about, like, that play before the steal Embiid got where he had to, like, take a fadeaway 3 and he, like, bricked it? Like, what do you think of, like, that whole play setup?
It was a bad play setup. I mean, I predicted it. I kind of saw it coming. Like that happens where we just can't get the ball in him. We can't get it in the post to him for some reason because Tobias Harris was like reluctant to make a risky pass. Like Sixers don't make risky passes in the post, even though like Embiid's probably going to get it if you just throw it up. But if they see like a defender like base guarding him or sealing, most likely they're going to like hesitate, and that just forces Embiid to go get the ball, and it forces him on the perimeter. So I feel like for that instance, it was a bad shot, but I saw it coming, and that just shows we need another guard who's going to be like, okay, we can't get it to Embiid. Let me do something. Let me create a shot instead of just looking for Embiid. Because I'm sure the lane was wide open while everyone was trying to get him the ball, but everyone was scared to make a move or do something. So I don't know.
I feel like that's like Tobias's biggest downfall realistically. Is that like he's one of those players where it doesn't matter what your teammates are doing necessarily, but like if he starts hitting a few shots, like he's gonna keep taking shots until like like he just misses like maybe a ton in a row or something. Like he's got like that, I don't know, it's like a weird like that mentality like Kyrie said like a few years ago with the Celtics. He's like, I took 25 shots. I shot like 7 of 25. He's like, I should have shot 30 or I should have shot 35. Like that's what Tobias reminds me of because he hit a few shots there in the 4th and was kind of bringing them back after they got down like 6 or something. And then he's like, oh, let me keep holding on to the ball. Let me run like an ISO. Like dude, and like you got to get it to the MVP. Like I don't know what they're trying there, and they gave it to him with 5 seconds left. They run a horrible pick and roll, pick and pop, whatever they tried. And then Embiid has to do like a step back fadeaway and from 3, and it was like a Westbrook result.
Like clanked off. I saw that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Embiid, 33 minutes, 13 for 25 from the field, only made 2 threes, 12 boards, 34 points, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, just doing it all out there. You know, arguably the MVP. Just another incredible performance. He had that one dunk where he like took it in on Ayton, just moved him out of the way. Jay Crowder was right there, and he just flushed it down on him. I'm like, dude, this guy is just incredible. You know, Romp, I would already ask you what you saw out of Embiid tonight, but I think I pretty much summed it up right there. So, anything I didn't mention about Embiid's performance tonight?
Yeah, Doc Rivers iced him. He was feeling it, and then
the death lineup,
like, the death lineup, and then it's like we don't see Embiid for the next 20 minutes. It feels like with the timeouts, with the fouls, and all that, and then Embiid gets off his chair. His legs are probably freaking, he's probably cold. Like I knew that first shot he took after coming in the game was not going to go in, because he hasn't checked in for the last 30 minutes. You can't. Just check Embiid back in with like 10 minutes ago.
Monty Williams sometimes did that with Booker. He would just keep him on the bench for so long. And I'm like, dude, Booker's got like 30-something points. I'm not saying he did it in this game, but in the past. And I totally can relate to you. And that's kind of like a controversy with being a coach. Is like sometimes players got it going. Who who cares how tired they are, man? Just let them in the game. Super Mario, any takeaways on Embiid's performance tonight?
Nah, I mean, I think he did like just about as good as you could have asked for. He didn't like. I think when we were talking the other day, like I think we were saying like maybe Embiid will have like an off night, like he's due for one, but no, and he keeps
He's so good, man.
He keeps that streak alive of like 25-point games. I don't know what he's even at now. I think he's at like 20 something, or Romp would probably know. It's something like that though.
It's a lot.
And I mean, like, it's probably a big reason why he's like the MVP in most people's opinion. Like, you think he is, Rom? I think he is. Suns Geek probably thinks it's Landry Shamet. So,
nope. The MVP in my eyes are Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and the entire Phoenix Suns team. And let's be real, the entire Phoenix Suns team should have been NBA All-Stars, per my opinion. Speaking of last year, wait, what?
That's the Western Conference.
Yeah, for the Western Conference. Romp with a background question mark. I think I've been living under a rock. Where's the Boban pick?
Boban's gone forever.
What? Yep. You're done with that?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, dude, that makes me sad, bro.
No, that's still in the bag. I just got a green screen.
You replaced that picture though with Drummond or something?
Yeah.
Tobias Harris, maybe.
Damn, Drummond had 5 assists.
Wow. Nice.
Point Drummond.
I feel like the Suns played really good defense on Embiid too.
He still had 34 points. Like, I mean, you can't stop him. I've said it so many times on this channel. Like, great offense in this league trounces great defense. So if they did play great defense, it did not matter.
Like Devin Booker on Matisse Thybulle today.
Yeah.
Thybulle had like 2 good possessions, like at the start of the third, and then like after that he just got like exposed.
35 minutes for Thybulle, 2 for 2 from the field, 2 free throws, 8 points.
I can't believe he hit a 1 dribble pull up 3. I was like, oh my God, how did that go in? I was shocked. He was a minus 12.
Tell your Aunt Sally to hit the like button. Who had a minus 12?
Thybulle.
Everyone gets lucky. Just ask LeBron.
Tell your Aunt Sally to hit the like button, and everyone watching, you guys should definitely hit the like button. Live with Super Mario Hoops and Romp 2.0, talking about the Suns Sixers game. And then stay tuned afterwards, guys, because kind of like we did in last night's show, we're going to be talking NBA trade deadline. And then I want to say how the NBA completely robbed Cam Johnson of the 3-point competition. Well, we'll get to that when we get to it. So, guys, any thoughts on this game? Like, I guess final thoughts on this game. One thing I want to point out real quick, though, before we kind of wrap this up is free throw shooting was great tonight for both teams. Suns 22 for 24. The Sixers 17 for 18. Both shot over 90%. 27 assists for the Suns, and they only had 8 turnovers, which is really good in my opinion. Suns usually win a lot of games when they don't turn the ball over. So, Romp, any final thoughts? Anything else you want to talk about in terms of the Suns Sixers game?
It's just hard to watch the same mistakes over and over again by quote unquote top 15 coach of all time. It's like, once again, 33 minutes for Joel Embiid, 42 minutes for Chris Paul, 37 for Devin Booker. How do you expect to win? It's like,
and Booker was on the bench at one point in the fourth quarter. So,
and I don't want to hear this excuse where Embiid can't play big minutes. He's in better shape.
Fact.
His style has gotten better where he's most likely not going to get hurt unless he has an unlucky fall, which is possible at any time. Plus, if you're going to do that, play him like 30 minutes against the trash teams. And then when you play the good teams, play him 38 minutes. There's always ways you could save Embiid. But in games against the Suns, games against the Bulls, against the elite teams, he has to play over 35 minutes or you're not going to have a chance with the roster as they have it now. It's just that simple. And I can't believe a top 15 coach of all time can't figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into that later, but that is ridiculous. I do think though, if the Bulls were playing on this day against either of these two teams, they might have won. I mean, think about it though.
Suns played really bad for the Suns, in my opinion. They played
the Suns
bad.
did play bad, and especially like the way the Sixers guards like shot too, like combined 6 of 25, 1 of 10 from 3.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, bro.
That's kind of why I brought up. I'm like, because I mean, it wasn't like the worst Suns performance I've ever seen, but again, tired legs, didn't really seem to have a mojo at times, and then like I mentioned, coming out of the halftime, they just struggled to score. So
this just adds to the conspiracy of the Bulls versus the NBA, because they knew if they scheduled us on this day against either team, we would have won. And
dude, my schedule was all out of whack. I was like, Romp, I don't know if I want to go live because it's the NBA trade deadline. He's like, what? He's like, that's on Thursday. And I was like, dude, I'm like, all these back-to-back games and trade deadline week. I'm like, I'm just so out of it.
Also, it ends at like 3 p.m. Like
right? Super Mario, any final thoughts, or did you kind of say what you wanted to say in terms of this game?
That was it. Just me adding one more thing to why Adam Silver is a fraud and he hates the Bulls and he intentionally schedules them on wrong days and everyone gets injured conveniently. Io DeSumo is out now with a concussion protocol, by the way.
Whoa, so how did that happen?
Do it again. I don't know. I didn't even see it, but we're getting screwed.
Dang, man.
Crazy, dude. Adam Silver.
He better play All-Star Weekend, bro, because I want to see him thrive in that.
But, dude, like, I still hate because there's this one guy. Oh, my God. This one guy made a tweet like a little bit ago, December 30th, 2021. If Eric O'Connor is watching the stream, you are going to get blasted, because he said Adam Silver's golden circle, and he put the Chicago Bulls in there. And I'm like, dude, we are not in the golden circle. Like, have you seen everything we've had this year? When there was like 20 people this year with like the safety protocols that were out, like the Bulls had like 11 of those. I'm like, come on, bro. But I'm gonna hold on to that tweet like till the end of the season.
I just want to end this whole Suns Sixers talk by saying that Romp, Jalen Smith sticks is greater than Embiid, and I'm sorry, it is the truth. Jalen Smith is the greatest power forward in Suns history. So
better than Barkley.
Please stick around, you guys. We're going to be talking NBA
Daryl Morey.
We're going to be talking NBA trade deadline. We got some great trades that happened, or crazy trades, I should say. We're going to talk All-Star Weekend stuff. So stick around, you guys. Make sure to Hulk smash that like button. If you have an Aunt Sally, go tell your Aunt Sally just to destroy the like button. And share this around with your friends. Share it on social media. Subscribe to Romp 2.0 and Super Mario Hoops 24, my guests and friends of the show. And I want to move on real quick and just talk about the absolute robbery of one Cameron Johnson, who did not make the NBA three-point contest. I wish I could pull up the graphic right now, but I was too lazy to do that. Your participants for that, though, are Desmond Bane, Luke Kennard, Zach LaVine, Super Mario Hoops, CJ McCollum, who just got traded, Patty Mills, Karl Anthony Towns, Fred VanVleet. I know that one was random, and then Trae Young. CJ McCollum is the one that really stood out to me. I was like, what? It's like, has he even like played much this year? Like, well, okay,
he was out like 20 games with a collapsed lung. I don't know how he made it, honestly.
Super Mario, you can take this one first. Go ahead. What are your thoughts on this whole roster for the three-point contest?
Well, personally, I think they got most of them right. I think like when I made my picks, I had 5 of these guys in. I think I had VanVleet making it. I had Desmond Bane, Kennard. I had a feeling LaVine would be in it again because I figured they'd probably ask him, and he wants to win one because he'd already won the dunk contest a few times. And then I had Patty Mills in it because he's been insane. But Karl Anthony Towns, I'm not too mad at that. I mean, probably usually they
shakes it up a little bit, you know?
Yeah, like they seem like they want to have a big man in there like any chance they can, and he's healthy this year. He's shooting well from 3. So that makes sense. Trae Young, I mean, they probably asked Steph Curry, and Curry's probably done with the three-point contest at this point in his career, honestly. And
did he win it last year?
I
think he won it last year.
Yeah, I think he might have, because he didn't do it 2 years ago because he wasn't healthy. So, and I figured they probably think Trae Young's like the next closest thing to Steph Curry that they could have in there, like kind of their play styles in a way. So they probably thought like, you know what, like let's get Trae Young. We got to get him in there. He's also like going to help with, the ratings and like get people to actually watch it. Unfortunately, more than like these other guys, like, Cam Johnson or Eric Gordon. I thought should have made it. I thought who else? I thought Mike Conley would have had a good chance to make it because he's shooting pretty well this year. And then CJ McCollum just doesn't make much sense because he missed 20 games. And I'm pretty sure last time he was in it, like he sucked anyways. I think he had like a score of like 7. He had like one of the worst scores ever. I'm pretty sure. So just doesn't make sense really.
I was not happy with that one. I think Karl Anthony Towns being there kind of shakes it up because he's got a lot of guards and like wing players and forwards. So Romp, any thoughts on the 3-point participants?
Well, Cam Johnson probably should have been there, but he's just not that name, so he's probably not going to get in until he is a starter, I guess. I don't know. It's just I feel like fair. The bigger names get in, and that's just how it goes. I mean, he definitely deserves it. I appreciate him shooting bad against the Sixers, though, because if he shot well, we probably would have got,
second night back-to-back where he didn't really play that well, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, maybe he's heartbroken from not getting in the 3-point contest.
Maybe someone told him early and he's pissed now. That means he's going to go off on a scoring frenzy. And I mean, a burner account says it perfectly, man. Shaking my head. Why isn't JaVale McGee in the 3-point contest? The NBA is rigged. I agree.
He did have a 3 yesterday. That was nice.
Exactly.
Yeah, against the Bulls, everyone took a 3.
He was wide open too, man.
Besides DeAndre Ayton.
Too. But no, like that it didn't used to always be that way. I hate I don't know, I feel like the internet sucks sometimes because it's like, dude, it ruined the way people look at this stuff. And now it's like you need everyone that is in there has to be averaging 15 or plus a game. They have to be a big name or something. Dude, who remember when freaking Pat Garrity was in it, or freaking Matt Bonner, Anthony Morrow, or I don't even know, Bellinelli. I think he won it one year. I think it was him and Beal or something. So actually, it might have been
let Furkan Korkmaz in. Come on now.
But no, my point is that you should still allow some of those people. I know they put Luke Kennard in this year, and that's probably the closest thing you're gonna get to one of those players that doesn't get that attention. But people Jason Capono of the past or something. What about these guys? You know what I mean? So I don't know. It was just kind of weird.
We don't really have to talk all-star stuff. That was just one that I really wanted to say. I mean, Cam Johnson's been super efficient, super consistent for the most part, and just been scoring the 3 incredible. I think he got completely robbed. And even Devin Booker said it last night on the broadcast. He's like, man, we're trying to get Cam Johnson in the 3-point contest. A Phoenix Suns takeover in Cleveland. I mean, it kind of already is. I mean, Monty Williams and his coaching staff are going to be there, and Booker and Paul and all them. But I think he got completely robbed. I think the NBA just does not like the Phoenix Suns. Let's just real quick talk about I'm going to need time to process this, to be honest. The 15 greatest coaches in NBA history. I'll just read this off real quickly. Red Auerbach, Larry Brown, Chuck Daly, Red Holtzman, Phil Jackson, Casey Jones, Steve Kerr, Don Nelson, Greg Popovich, Jack Ramsey, Pat Riley, Doc Rivers, Jerry Sloan, Eric Spoelstra, and Lenny Wilkins. Super Mario Hoops, you are the NBA history fan along with me. So I'll put you on the spot first. I mean, any takeaways from this list? I mean, this is a list that I honestly need to open up my NBA history books and kind of dive more into. I would need to look at their numbers on Basketball Reference and all that. So just any takeaways from this list?
I mean, not really. I was looking through though, because when the top 50 list of greatest players came out, they came out with the top 10 coaches. So now after 75 years, they put 15 coaches. And I was looking through on that, and on that list, they had Bill Fitch and they had John Cunla on there. But neither of those guys were on the top 15 coaches list, which is confusing because remember when we were looking at the top 75 players list a few months ago, and everyone that made the top 50 list was automatically in there. And then you had guys like Bill Sharman and Paul Arizin make it, and everyone's plumber, electrician, he's
hating on the original pioneers of this game, man.
But it's realistically, if you were to take the top 75 players, because I do think some people were legitimately snubbed from that list. And I'm not saying those guys necessarily would be the ones that I'd take off. But there are some people in there that probably didn't deserve to make it. Like, think of Tracy McGrady, for example. Like, how is he not on there? Monte Ginobili, how is he not on there? But
Right.
it's like you don't keep it consistent with the coaches here, and you take off two guys that, like, I was looking at this because Casey Jones made it on the top 15 list now, and he last coached as a head coach in 1992. Well, the top 10 list came out 4 years after in 96, and he didn't make it because Bill Fitch and John Cunliffe both made it over him. Now you're telling me 25 years later, Casey Jones is a better coach than those two, and none of them have coached since. Like, it makes no sense to me. Like,
my whole thing too is you said a key name there, Bill Fitch. I mean, that guy who, by the way, recently passed away, sadly, absolute legend of this game, a coach, in my opinion, who just does not get enough credit, obviously, that he really should. And yeah, you are 110% spot on with that. I mean, you know, in all fairness, I think Casey Jones has a little bit of a, you know, resume and all that, but I think the list is a little strange. Romp, just any thoughts? I mean, obviously Doc Rivers is the one that stands out.
How is Doc Rivers on this list?
Exactly. Like, what do you think about that? I mean, he's been on the Sixers for how long? And
he's one of the worst coaches I've
only
ever
won
been
one
around.
championship, correct? I think he's only won 1 or 2 Coach of the Years. Like, I'm sure he's probably got the coaching victories, but I mean, what do you think, man?
He just proves that coaching, like, it matters, but like if you have great players, like they're gonna take you far. Like he has
the Luke Walton effect, basically, when he was the assistant for the Warriors.
Yeah. So I don't know. He's one of the worst coaches I've ever experienced. He's not worse than Brett Brown, but that's impossible. It's impossible to be worse than Brett Brown, to be honest. I like Eric Spoelstra getting some love.
Yeah, that was kind of one that stood out. I actually really like that pick.
I don't know if he should be top 15 already, but
maybe like top 25, top 20. I mean, either way, he's making the list, you know.
Greg Popovich needs to retire.
Yeah, he does.
Steve Kerr, I guess so.
I mean, like, I guess what he's accomplished. But
Phil Jackson should probably be number 1.
If Steve Kerr didn't make this list, like, I think it would be fine, because if you look at what Steve Kerr has done since college, like, he's just one of the greatest basketball, you know, Hall of Famers ever, in my opinion. College, playing time,
you know how many
coaching,
Warriors
GM, and all that.
Going crazy if Steve Kerr was list now.
I wonder if they just threw that on there just so they didn't get the social media heat. But, you know, I do think all these coaches are deserving. It's just a weird list. I mean, besides Doc Rivers, I should say. Some coaches on this list don't get talked about.
Like Burner said, Igor Kokoskov.
Igor Kokoskov. For you real Phoenix Suns fans out there, you know who that is. And by the way, a couple, you know, I'm sounding like a homer here. Cotton Fitzsimmons, you know, I don't know if they're saying they should have made the list, but Paul Westphal. Suns have had some great coaches, man. Just saying. But yeah, I mean, Igor Kokoskov not being on this list is an absolute travesty.
I did want to shout out the original Bull on there, Jerry Sloan. You know, former Bulls coach. He coached the Jazz for so long. Unfortunately, we had to beat him in the finals. But
yeah, he started off with the Bulls, man.
He was the original Bull, is what they call him. Unfortunately, he even passed away a few years ago. But yeah, I mean, he's still a legend. He's one of the 4 Bulls whose jersey hangs in the rafters. So got to give him credit there.
And, you know, he was a pretty good player for his time. I think he was a 2-time All-Star and just was around the game for so many years, and then was blessed with John Stockton and Karl Malone and a great decade or 2 of basketball. So, you know,
the
Jerry
1975 Bulls are one of the most underrated teams ever. Almost won a ring.
Was he on that team?
Mm-hmm. They actually got to like Game 7 in the conference finals.
Wow.
That year. And they
was
almost
Bob
made
Love on that team?
Bob Love, Chet Walker, Norm Van Leer.
We're talking NBA history over here for all you OGs fans of basketball. Romp's probably like, what?
No, I'm confused.
I think Nate Thurmond was on that team too.
Really?
Yeah, and he was on the
legend
Warriors.
of the game right there.
But yeah.
Did they put Coach Geek and Coach Romp and Coach Mario on the top 50 list? They got hardcore snubbed.
Hey, I made top
Oh,
one
man.
water boy on the list.
I appreciate everybody that is watching in the chat. We talked pretty, for about 30 minutes or so. We talked about the Suns Sixers game, and I feel like we pretty much put a bow on that game and wrapped it all up pretty fairly. And now we're talking some All-Star Weekend stuff. And now I hope I get all of this right. We're going to talk about the recent trades that have happened. 2 of them broke today. I hope I get this right. Let's start with the CJ McCollum one. If I can pull it up here. Yeah. So I'm totally choking right now, but okay. Pelicans get CJ McCollum, Larry Nance, Tony Snell. Blazers get Josh Hart, Tomas Satoransky. I hope I said that right.
Oh,
Nikhil
Bulls
Alexander
legend.
Walker, Didi Duluza. I don't know. Someone help me with that name. 2022 protected first round pick, 2 second round picks. That is a lot right there just to say. And yeah, so CJ McCollum is on the move, and that was obviously a huge trade. And then I think around noon or so, the Indiana Pacers trained Domantas Sabonis, 2-time All-Star. They got back Tyrese Halliburton, second round pick Jeremy Lamb, Justin Holiday, and then in exchange for Buddy Hield as well. I think I might have mixed this up. Tristan Thompson. You guys already know the trades. I'm terrible at reading that stuff. So Romp, feel like we haven't heard from you in a while. What trade do you want to start with? What do you think? I mean, it set the NBA world on fire. What do you think?
Start out with the Pelicans one. I kind of like CJ McCollum to the Pelicans.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum are going to be a nice scoring duo defensively. I don't know what they're going to do, but that's cool. I mean, hopefully Zion comes back, but who knows when that's going to be. But I like that for the Pelicans, and I guess the Trailblazers are just trying to get as much cap as they possibly can or whatever, and they're embracing the tank. So
that is one thing I was going to say was their salary cap sheet is cleared. Bobby Marks brought that up. I think they only have like 68 million guaranteed in contracts, and that's pretty damn cheep.
So yeah, that's good for them.
Yeah.
I don't know who they're going to track to Portland though, to be honest, but that's another story for another day.
Yep.
The Indiana Pacers got Tyrese Halliburton.
Yep.
The Kings, I don't even know what the Kings are doing. I mean, is De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis gonna lead you anywhere? Maybe the playoffs as an 8th seed, but I don't know. I'd rather keep Halliburton with Sabonis, but I guess the Pacers probably wanted Halliburton, so they couldn't get that done. And yeah, the Pacers have a lot of picks now and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they could still trade Miles Turner and get more picks. So they're embracing the rebuild. Plus, they probably got the best player in that trade. Well, obviously Sabonis is better right now, but in 5 years, I mean, Tyrese Halliburton, he's going to be the best player. And then now that Tyrese Halliburton's gone, I mean, the Sixers got to get James Harden.
I know that a lot of NBA fans probably don't care for this, but you said it, Romp. The Pacers got a lot of picks now. I think the Pelicans, prior to this trade deadline, had a lot of picks. Blazers are collecting assets and all that. And I said this to Super Mario yesterday on the stream. I'm like, now it's all about what are the Blazers going to do next? Not just the trade deadline. We're talking way after. So obviously there's a lot to this. We could probably talk in depth about all these, the Blazers and Pacers and even the Pelicans. There's just so much to discuss. So Super Mario Hoops, you can pick whatever trade you want to start with. Any thoughts? I mean, like I said, the NBA world is on fire right now. And guess what, you guys? The trade deadline is not till Thursday. So it feels like the trade deadline already came and gone. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's been a blockbuster and some crazy trades. So Super Mario, go ahead, man. Just what do you think about all this?
I mean, I think starting off with the Pelicans Blazers trade, I mean, it's nice, I guess, that CJ McCollum gets a change of scenery, probably gets away from the toxic media nonsense that surrounds Damian Lillard, just wanting him to leave. So, kind of getting out of that, I guess, is okay. But I just don't think their defense is really going to be that great. I mean, you got like Valanciunas, you got Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Devontae Graham. Like, they don't really have the most elite defense if you put it all together, especially when you lose like, Josh Hart and Nikhil Alexander Walker, especially, who I think he's pretty underrated as well.
Yeah, he's a good player.
And I think that's why like Portland, I mean, I don't know if they like totally lose this trade. I mean, obviously, most people would say whoever the best player is in the trade generally wins that trade 99% of the time. So I think the Pelicans still do win this one, but it's not like a total L for the Blazers. They definitely got more or a better return for this than the Norman Powell trade.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was terrible.
That's why I brought up the assets and draft picks and salary cap. It's like, sorry to cut you off, but I feel like the casuals will be like, oh, the Blazers are blowing it up and they don't know what they're doing. But I'm like, this is like salary related and you're trying to keep Dame. And even Woj said like they're going to build around Dame. So I agree with you. They kind of had a better package. Go on with the rest of your thoughts. I just had to get that off my chest.
Well, and even I was looking like at the picks. So like a 2022 first round pick, which is protected, and then two second round picks for Portland. And that pick, it probably will align with, falling to Portland, which is pretty good. If it's like 5 to 14, it goes to them. If it's top 4, Pelicans.
So basically a lottery pick in a way,
And if the Pelicans make the playoffs, it actually goes to the Hornets. There's that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was, I guess, looking at that. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not like a terrible trade. But yeah. And then as for the other trade with, Indiana and Sacramento, I think that the Pacers got an incredibly good deal. And it's not like, it's not like a total L of a trade. But it's like you think about what the Pacers have been doing. I feel like too many people slander them in the LeVert trade, but they got quite a bit back. Like, I made a tweet earlier today. It's like, here's everything that they've already added just in the past few days. Right. They've added Tyrese Halliburton, who could be like a guard for the future. Buddy Hield. He's, one of those guys that could get you 16 to 20 points per game off the bench. One of the best shooters in the league. You could argue he was snubbed maybe from the 3-point contest, except I don't know if he's playing quite that well from 3 this year. Right. Tristan Thompson, Ricky Rubio, those guys probably won't be there long term. I think they're both on expiring. Then they got a 2022 first-round pick.
Thompson needs to go to a contender.
Yeah, and then they got a 2022 first-round pick from Cleveland, which is roughly like still a top 20 or so pick. A second-round pick by Houston, that'll be good. And then a 2027 second-round pick by Utah. And they dumped LeVert and Sabonis's contracts for cap space. And the other losses were kind of just filler players like Justin Holiday or Jeremy Lamb. Like, those guys weren't really guys that you were going to be like, oh, we need to keep them long-term if we want to win. Like, nobody really cared. So I think like the Pacers already have done a lot, and we'll see like what happens if they do move Miles Turner, if they do move Warren. I feel like in the summer they will move Brogdon. So we'll see. Like they got a lot of pieces they could move, and if they get everything together like in a short time, they might be, have a young team that's looking promising as early as next year. But the Kings are probably more on the upside right now because of Sabonis. Him and Fox, don't know how that's really going to work. I feel like Sabonis benefited a lot playing with Brogdon. I think it brought out a lot of good stuff in him, and I don't know if De'Aaron Fox is going to do the same, especially since I don't think it moves the needle where De'Aaron Fox is really like motivated or happy in the sense there. In a way, like he's kind of like a light version of what Julius Randle's doing right now with the Knicks, but it's just not getting talked about enough because, well, one's in New York and one made the playoffs last year, while the other one is the Sacramento Kings. But yeah, I think the Kings, other than that, like getting Jeremy Lamb, Justin Holiday doesn't really do anything, in my opinion. And, a 2027 second round pick, like that probably doesn't do anything either, especially because if the Pacers hope to be good by then, that pick will be terrible. Like that'll probably be like, you'd have to hope you draft like a Ginobili or an Isaiah Thomas, in the draft or something like that. But yeah,
I used to say that second round picks were now like gold, but I think I was just fooled by like Nikola Jokic and Draymond Green, all those great second round picks. But I will say that first round picks are kind of like gold. Yeah, exactly. So, any team that receives a second round pick in any trade from here on out has to hope that they get the next Jokic or Draymond Green or whoever it may be. But yeah, I mean, just assets. And I feel like a lot of these trades are salary based. And I feel like just a lot of NBA fans kind of need to step back and understand that. This isn't like NBA 2K where at the click of the button, you can just turn around your franchise. It takes time. You got to, clear some cap room and bring in nice young players and, just figure it out. And I kind of feel like maybe that's what the Blazers are doing. They're just saying, look, Dame, you're not going anywhere until further notice or until you request out. And we're going to do our best to, clear our salary cap sheet and bring in some players. And, we'll figure it out this off season. Because again, that's what I feel like it really is that they're going to just figure it out in the off season. Indiana, on the surface right now, it looks like they are, quote, rebuilding. I'm pretty sure Miles Turner will get traded. But, they're doing what they have to do. And the Sacramento Kings are just super confusing. But maybe Sabonis, maybe that changes their future. I'm not saying they're going to be like a title contender next season. But, get some pieces around Sabonis. And I'm pretty sure De'Aaron Fox won't get traded. Who knows? But you guys get my point. They're trying to do what they can with what they have. But that franchise is just such a mess, man. I mean, sure, you got Sabonis. That's great. But yikes. So that's my little rant on that. And by the way, guys, Tyrese Halliburton, I saw this on StatMoose. Again, shout out to StatMoose. They do an incredible job. His last 24 games, Tyrese Halliburton, 17 points per game, 9.4 turnovers, 9.4 assists, 2.6 turnovers, 47% shooting, 43% from the field, 87% from the free throw line. The kid is an absolute stud.
Romp's just crying as you read all those stats because he wanted him in Philly.
Suns fans are crying too because they're like, we could have had Halliburton over Jalen Smith. Sorry. Anyways, and I just wanted to address a quick comment. I think it was right here. And I think JW meant to say Jalen is playing. Biyombo, I think he meant to say is not playing. What's up with that? Yeah, Bismack Biyombo, the last 2 games, has not played. Relax, Suns fans.
Nope, it's not okay.
He's better than Aiden.
Relax, Suns fans. Monty will. I'm sure Monty probably saw. I mean, JaVale McGee played good last night and tonight. Like, we have the best backup centers in the league. So if he wants to rest for a couple games, let him rest. But I do appreciate your comments. So any takeaways, guys, from all that?
Biyombo needs to be playing. Biyombo got to play, bro. It's that simple. He was balling.
Facts.
I'm seeing some comments in here, rumors about Eric Gordon and all that. And I kind of voiced my opinions on that last night about Eric Gordon. I basically said that he is a guy that could get you over the hump, could win you a few games, but I'm not super crazy on an Eric Gordon trade. But there are rumors, I guess, from like Mike Scotto or something like that, the Suns are trying to move Dario Saric's contract and Jalen Smith and some draft picks for apparently, we've heard this rumor before, for Thaddeus Young. Well, who knows? I mean, if you would have told me that Domantas Sabonis would be going to the Kings this season, I'd be like, you're insane. So who knows what's going to happen? I'm sure they're on the phones. I don't know. But again, I feel like if the Phoenix Suns stay put at the deadline, that's fine too. But they could make some improvements to their roster. So Romp, you look like you have something on your mind over there. What's going on?
I was just thinking about James Harden as a Sixer, to be honest.
Okay, we can talk about that. We're talking trade deadline over here, So
yeah,
I mean, even I heard RB say it tonight, man. He said trade for James Harden.
Have to. It's our only option, man.
Yeah,
and get Gary Harris or Eric Gordon.
And I know I keep changing my tune on this, Romp, but you're not getting anything from Ben Simmons at all. So get something in there, man. I kind of gone up and down about that. I'm like, first I'm like, oh yeah, maybe you shouldn't trade Ben Simmons. Maybe you should. But I mean, come on, James Harden, get something in there, man. Scoring, assists, a veteran. At least you're getting some production, or, even if you got a whole bunch of role players and draft picks back, So any other thoughts on that, Romp, on the whole Harden?
Plus, if we lose with James Harden and Joel Embiid, Doc Rivers will definitely be fired. So that's the best thing. So it's kind of like a win-win. If we get him, championship expectations, and if Doc can't win with Embiid and Harden, he'll be a goner. That's good.
And they won't include him on the top 20 coaches when it's time for that as well.
Yeah,
They'll
when they
remove
blew
him
a 25-point lead.
like they removed Bill Fitch and John Cunliffe. They'll remove Doc
I feel
Rivers.
bad for Bill Fitch, man. They should have put him on there. By the
It
way,
just
guys, we are
yeah.
over an hour. Sorry to interrupt you, Super Mario.
No,
We
you're
are
good.
over an hour, so make sure to Hulk smash that like button. We've talked Suns and Sixers. We talked some NBA All-Star, 3-point contest and all that. We've talked the NBA trade deadline, which I brutally butchered when I was trying to read all these crazy trades that have went down. Super Mario, what were you saying, man? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying like it doesn't make sense how like the NBA was so easy to remove coaches like in a later list from their stuff, but like they didn't want to remove any of the players, like why do you got to keep some of these guys on here like from the old list that probably aren't top 75 players anymore, like realistically, you know what I mean?
Yeah, true that. Anything else you guys want to talk about? I mean, any rumors that you guys are hearing? I mean, obviously we are more plugged in than Woj and Shams, so anything you guys are hearing, any hot takes about the deadline? Super Mario Hoops and I kind of talked about this last night, and I said this like twice last night. I was like, man, we could be having a completely different conversation tomorrow, and I was right. 2 trades just like that. So Romp, I mean, you kind of talked about the Harden thing. I mean, any other trades that you think are going to go down? Any hot takes about the deadline? I mean, we're almost 48 hours away now. Like I'm so excited.
I just want it to be over.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Actually, I wish we could see it in hindsight.
I feel like the deals are already done or like close to done. It's like but it's kind of annoying because you don't know who to trust.
They always have the trades until the very end, bro.
Yeah, even Shams and Woj are saying different things. Like,
dude, sometimes like hours after the deadline, you keep hearing trades were coming in.
Dude, I think Woj was drunk today because he said like Domas Sabonis, and he said Jeremy Lamb, and everyone's like, "Wow, they traded the first clone player in NBA history."
Romp, you were saying Shams and Woj are saying different things. What
Shams is saying, like, I don't know, James Harden. They're on 2 opposite sides with the Harden situation.
Yeah,
so like they're the 2 most reliable sources, but they're saying different things. So it's like, who can you trust? Exactly. Nobody.
Yep. And you know what? Somebody said that too. I was listening to one podcast and they were like, even if you think you know something or you hear something from a quote source, you don't know anything, even if you're just diving into all that and you're staying tuned to all of the sources and the Twitterverse, it's like, we don't know nothing. The only people that know are James Jones and other general managers out there. And so I don't know. Super Mario, any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, hopefully by the time like 48 hours passes, Richaun Holmes is on the Chicago Bulls.
That'd be a nice fit for you. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, the Kings look like
former Phoenix Sun right there.
They're trying to rebuild a rebuild of a rebuild of a rebuild because it's been going on for like 1,000 years now. So why not give us Richaun Holmes? You guys
almost 6? If they don't make the playoffs this year, 16 years. And again, maybe Sabonis changes your fortunes in the future, but yikes, this year it has been bad.
He ain't changing anything except hopefully his underwear.
The only reliable source of Suns content is Suns Geek. Hulk smash the like button. No geek is holding me hostage. A burner account is an absolute legend. He's absolutely hilarious. And yes, I'm your only reliable source for Suns content. Any Suns news, Suns trade rumors you want to hear, I'm the one that has it. Don't go to Woj and Shams and all that. They don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, I honestly do believe that the Suns at least will make just a couple small trades. I think a lot of Suns fans are thinking, I honestly think it'll just be 2. I think it'll be 2, man, unless it's like a package deal. But I mean, I can't see the Suns making some blockbuster trade. Maybe Dario Sarge's contract gets moved on, which I feel really bad for because he's been injured. Suns could possibly be even better if he were healthy. But go ahead, Super Mario.
If the Suns could package Landry Shamet and maybe like like one of their other guys at the end of the bench or like a pick or some sort, not like a crazy pick, but like a pick that's like kind of relatively decent.
Right.
For Gary Harris
Yep, we were
Boom.
talking about that last night.
That's the answer, dude. Gary Harris is like the most underrated player in the league right now because
Yeah.
people forget this guy was like incredibly important on the Nuggets. But yeah, also I agree with Miguel saying they're doing the Bulls dirty. Dude, the NBA does the Bulls dirty. They're doing them dirty all year long this year. It's crazy, bro. Ridiculous.
They do the Suns dirty too, man. I mean, best team in the league, and we don't got no All-Star starter, nobody in All-Star weekend and all that.
But we're in the golden
Excuse me.
circle, apparently. It's crazy.
Andrew Wiggins is an all-star over D-Book starter. How?
How is Wiggins an all-star, bro? That makes sense.
He's an all-star starter. That's the worst thing about it. Like, you can make an argument he shouldn't even be an all-star.
They need
Biggest
to
fake all-star since Jeff Teague.
You know, this offseason, I'm sure it'll be the last thing on Adam Silver's to-do list, but they need to go over it. They need to either make it positionless or just honor, the best players like, Devin Booker and all that. And again, Andrew Wiggins is having an all-star season. But I mean, come on. Like, there's just so much to it.
Fix it, like doing two things mainly. Like, first of all, like they could do that for sure, like make it positionless, but also the captains every year should be like, how the coaches are, where it's like if you're the 1 seed consecutive years, they just give it to the 2nd seed the next year. Like, you can't be a consecutive seasons. Like, if LeBron, like, who cares? No one wants to see LeBron draft every year. Like, let's be real. Like, I want to see like Giannis draft or like Curry draft or anyone else really, like after a while, and then you could be it the next year again. And the second thing is they can't release the voting returns. They just can't do that because once they saw that guys like Andrew Wiggins were 3rd in voting in the first returns, that only made people more likely to keep voting for him. If people were voting him early on, you think that many people would have kept voting for him? Because that also drew in like a new crowd of not just Warrior fans, but like everyone else. You know what I mean? Like, people would slow down probably the hype of these people, like, when Zaza Pachulia got it. But when they do the fan voting returns, and they're like, here's the first return, second return, third return, it's like, dude, like, you're just exposing to everyone all the results, and you're making it more likely that these guys that probably aren't deserving are going to get in. Makes no sense.
Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? Because I'm sure me and Super Mario could talk about how, the media and the NBA just completely looks away when, Adam Silver and, the Suns and Bulls are good. And, let's talk about the Lakers and the Warriors all the time. So any final thoughts on just anything? I mean, anything you guys want to get off your chest, and maybe we could call this a wrap. What do you guys think?
Just get me Harden, and hopefully he gets more motivated and he returns to himself and stays healthy.
Facts.
That's all I'll say.
I'm tired of Adam Silver's games. I need
Super Mario is coming after Adam Silver.
I'm not gonna lie, I would body box Mr. Pencil Neck at this point. Like,
Pencil
I'm
Neck.
Dude, bro looks like Barnacle Boy.
On that note, gentlemen, I hate to cut this short, but I just want to say, first off, thank you both for joining me. I think it was a good show. I think we pretty easily handled the Suns and Sixers game and within like 30 minutes or so. And I think we did some good trade deadline talk. And I just want to say this, though. I am super pumped for the NBA trade deadline. I am a complete nerd, and I am a huge nerd when it comes to NBA All-Star Weekend. Cannot wait. I'm going to enjoy every single second of it. I feel like, despite all the controversy with, all-star picks and all that, it is a celebration of the game, a celebration of the league and the sport that we love. And especially this year, the NBA's 75th anniversary, and they're going to be celebrating the legends of the game. So I am just super, super excited. Great time to be a basketball fan right now. And that's pretty much it, guys. So I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Thank you to everybody who was watching later on. Make sure to subscribe to Romp 2.0. Subscribe to Super Mario Hoops 24. And buckle up, buckle up, NBA fans. I mean, it is going to be an insane trade deadline. Stay by your phones. Refresh Google every 5 seconds and check your sources.
This might have been Jalen Smith's last game as a Sun.
Yeah, because I don't think we play for what, a couple days.
Wow.
Oh, we play on the trade deadline game.
Yeah, but he might not
Yeah,
be
for
there.
trade deadline. Yeah,
after
like
3 p.m.
Mhm.
Damn.
Well, he's done.
Burner's gonna cry himself to sleep after that.
Burner
Hulk
account
smash
said,
that like button too, as David says. Yeah, that might have been Jalen Smith's last game.
a burner account is saying Super Mario versus Adam Silver, UFC 180. Book it.
Well, where is
He
that?
does
I'm
look like
missing it.
Barnacle Boy, huh?
Dude, he does, bro. But he has like no powers
Super Mario versus Adam Silver.
except rigging the NBA. That's his only power, and catering to LeBron and the Lakers.
I will end the stream just real quick because I know the Super Bowl's coming up. I mean, who watches football? Am I right? Super Bowl picks. Who you guys got? Putting you guys on the spot.
Bengals. They're gonna do
Probably
it.
the Rams.
I know you're a Ravens fan. You got the Ravens beanie on.
Probably the
Looks like a
Rams
Pelicans
because
beanie.
the Bengals offensive line sucks. So
I think the Bengals are gonna come out and just shock everybody. They're gonna get down early, like how they were against the Chiefs, and then they'll take it over.
I hope so.
Oh yeah, I think this Thursday they're announcing or they're doing the All-Star draft too. Thursday's going to be insane.
Why?
That's
Why-
like the
why do they-
last.
It's
That's
just
like
so
the
stupid.
last thing that it doesn't even matter anymore. Like when they first came out with that was really cool, I guess. But like
True,
now,
that's
it's
true.
like
Yeah,
nobody cares, honestly. Like
I guess
might
I
as well
only
just
care
announce
because
it.
Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Like if they weren't in the All-Star game, I wouldn't care.
You know what
Yeah.
I want? I want them to stop making jerseys and just have them wear their own jerseys at the All-Star game.
Amen.
Yeah.
Rob.
But you
Dude.
know why they won't do that? Because of like
Because of
merch.
money.
They
Because
need
of
money.
money.
But you know what? Why can't they just like
Barnacle Boy.
patch? Why can't they just put a patch here that says like All Star on it, and then they wear
Yeah.
the jersey like that? Like that
Dude,
would make
Romp,
sense.
thank you for bringing that up, dude. Now look, some of the I kind of last year's jerseys kind of grew on me. I'm not gonna lie. Even that mustard yellow one kind of grew on me. But this
I don't
year's,
remember what that
yikes.
looked like.
The T-shirts. If you guys go on like Fanatics or some NBA website, the T-shirts for the All-Star thing are cooler than the actual jersey itself.
They should create custom team only jerseys. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like just custom Sixers jerseys, custom Suns jerseys. And then
Right.
you can
Or you
sell
know what they
those.
should? You know what they should do is like the jerseys that they like have right now listed. Like those would be the ones you could buy, but like in the game they actually just wear their own jersey with a patch on it or something. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that would make more sense, and it would look cooler too. People were saying like on Twitter though, like I saw like a few days ago, they're like, "Oh, I was kind of confused like by it," and I'm like, "How are you confused?" Because like it's just like everyone is wearing white jerseys against anyone who's wearing colored jerseys. I don't know. Maybe it is confusing, but
Shout out to Darth. I hope I'm saying this right. Darth Vio. I always butcher his last name. Shout out to the Suns Jam Session podcast. I'll just say that my friend John and Matt over at the Suns Jam Session podcast. They do a great job. I'm sorry I butchered your last name again. So go check out the Suns Jam Session podcast. But yeah, that's the 1995 NBA All-Star jerseys were nice. I think they should be playing with every team's jersey, or the team that you're on. That would just look so crazy on the court. I know this sounds insane. It might look bad for TV. This is my hot take here. What if they all played in their city edition jerseys? That would be insane. Like the Timberwolves one, that like green one or whatever. Is that their city? You guys get what I'm saying. I mean, that would be
That's
just absolutely
insane.
wild.
You're drunk for that.
I
I'm
thought
spitting hot facts over here.
I thought the 2009 jerseys were they were kind of more iconic. Like they weren't crazy cool, but they were
Yeah.
iconic. I think that wasn't at the game. That was in Phoenix too, right?
Yep, it was in Phoenix. I think
Yeah,
Shaq
'cause,
and
like-
Kobe or co-all
Yeah, they co-MVP and Shaq exposed Dwight.
MVP, not all-star. My mind is not here today, guys.
But yeah,
He says shirts versus skins. That would be, that'd be fun. They need to do an outside NBA All-Star game. Didn't they do that once? Like the rooftop was open or something. You guys remember that? Or am I tripping? Was that like an
a
Olympic
one-on-one
game?
tournament.
why did they get rid of the shooting stars and why did they get rid of the horse tournament?
Facts. The Shooting Stars was so underrated, man.
They got mad because like Chris Bosh and like Dominique Wilkins and who was it? Like, was it Sue Bird, I think, on their team or something?
Yeah, they like dominated for
They won like 3
years.
straight years. And then like Chris Bosh like had to leave the NBA or something, and then they like stopped. Like, I don't know. Like, it made no sense. Should just bring it back.
I hope that this whole Rising Stars format stuff is good this year. I don't know. I mean, and I like the teams. I don't know if you guys saw who drafted all the teams and all that, but I hope it's good. I don't know. I'm old school. I'm biased, and I miss the whole, Rising Stars, rookie versus sophomore, and team.
It's
Team
gonna be
USA
like
and
the
Team
big
World.
three, probably. Like, that's what I think.
Because it's only 7 players, right? I think it's gonna be like a half court game, or I mean, 7 players on the roster, I should say, but
4 teams of 7. So
yeah.
I feel like it'll kind of be like the big three in a sense, where it's like, because they have predetermined scores too, right? So
Yeah, I think
like
so.
once you get to it, like it'll automatically like end each game like with a game winner kind of too. So that's kind of like similar way.
Why are the Lakers so trash? Why are the Brooklyn Nets? I mean, the Brooklyn Nets don't have their big three in, but yeah, their Lakers are trash.
Dude, it's so sad.
Even if the Lakers make the playoffs, they're not going to do anything, man. We're going to fucking kick their asses, Romp said.
It's so sad that the Nets are on like a 9-game losing streak and they're still 4 games ahead of the Lakers in the standings.
If that doesn't sum up the season for the Lakers, I don't know what does.
And now the Lakers are getting swamped by the Bucks as we speak.
And LeBron's playing, by the way. I don't know if AD's in there, but LeBron is playing in this game.
LeBron is, AD is, and so is Westbrook. Washed brick, really. He's 0
They have
points.
no excuse then. They have no excuse. I don't care if you're not healthy. They have no excuse.
More turnovers than points. What do you have to say about that, Suns Geek? Because you're a Westbrook defender.
Wait, Westbrook has more turnovers than points?
He has 2 turnovers, 0 points. He's 0 for 4, and they're down 22, and he's a minus 14.
He needs to accept the bench role. He's a bench player, bro.
He needs to accept a buyout.
Or way less. Westbrook just needs to dunk on Rudy Gobert again and just let out all of his frustrations, and then he'll stop turning the ball over. So
that only won him like 1 game. They had a game like that against Portland in like 2019, and they still lost in 5. And Dame waved him off.
On that note, gentlemen, I'm going to get out of here because my dogs are freaking out. You guys know how it is. They always love to make a cameo on this show, and but it was a good show, guys. I appreciate you being on. Thank you to everybody who was in here, burner account, just all of you guys. I appreciate you. So make sure to Hulk smash that like button, you guys, and please subscribe for everything Phoenix Suns. If it has to deal with the Phoenix Suns, I'm going to make a video about it. Stay tuned. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on deadline day because we do play the Bucks. But you guys know any Phoenix Suns news, I will be covering it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.